Today's episode is supported by AIDS-Free Pittsburgh. There are more than 5,000 people living with HIV in southwestern Pennsylvania, and the Ryan White HIV/AIDS program provides support services to help them get the care they need. That includes assistance with things like healthcare, medications, housing, transportation, food, and treatment for substance use disorders. Visit aidsfreepittsburgh.org to learn more.
This is CityCast Pittsburgh. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. What's the worst movie you've seen in the last year?
Tron Ares.
Wait, what?
The third Tron movie that came out, I think, in October or something like that. I did not see it in theaters. I saw it at home like a masochist, and I heard it was terrible.
But you did that to yourself anyway.
I have to find out. I'm a critic. I need to know. And I think that's the end of Jared Leto as a movie star, is my take on it. I probably should have happened already, but that movie bombed and also is one of the most evil movies I've ever seen.
You're getting a real sense of Josh Axelrod's personality
R.I.P.
here.
Jared Leto.
I'm with Josh, sitting at the Lindsay Theater and Cultural Center over in Sewickley. Thank you again so much for having us.
No, thanks for doing this again. It was really fun the first time, and now we get to talk Oscars.
And remind us your bona fides. You are a critic. You work here at the Lindsay.
Correct. I am the Lindsay Theater's Director of Communications and Media Relations, and I'm also a founding member of the Pittsburgh Film Critics Association, which just a month or two ago, we put out our Best of 2025 movie awards.
That must be like high season for you.
I cannot tell you the number of movies I crammed in at the end of December.
How many movies do you watch per year?
My letterbox is a little horrifying. I definitely broke 200 last year.
It's because of you I even knew Letterboxd exists. You can track the movies you watch now and like write reviews for yourself. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, it's a social media site for film nerds, and it's wonderful. Honestly, it's one of the least toxic social media sites because all people want to do is talk about movies. It's great.
And we're going to talk about the Oscars coming up March 15th, but we figured we'd start now because if you're going to try to see any of these films, especially here in Pittsburgh, in person at a local theater like the Lindsay, then you want to try to do that now. Curious for you. Do you care? Do you think people should care about awards, award season, award shows?
I care. I have always cared, mostly just because I think they're fun. They're harmless. Yes, they're very self-aggrandizing for people who don't necessarily need the accolades. But personally, I'm a sports fan. And this is how you sportsify art, basically. You give award shows with categories, and then there are betting sites that follow the Oscars all year round and try to figure it out. And frankly, it's a great resource for me to try to figure out what movies are going to matter for the Lindsay.
Telling me that there are ways to bet on it is the surefire way to make me think it's worse.
I fully understand, and I did not love when the Golden Globes literally had Polymarket odds up on the screen during them. But in all seriousness, I think the Oscars are supposed to serve as a snapshot of the year in movies. Whether they do a great job of that or not is up for debate. But people remember movie years based on the Oscars a lot of the times. And really, I think more often than not, it's at least a decent snapshot of these were the movies that got people's attention this year. And this is how history will remember the year in our Lord 2025. You know, that's my pitch for this is important on a level.
Yeah. Well, and part of the reason I wanted to talk to you today is because, Pittsburgh has I think a fairly robust film scene. We have a lot of theaters here in town. We have, of course, a tremendous drama program at Carnegie Mellon. Like the city seems to care about film generally, but the Oscars specifically.
I've been trying to incept that into the city's minds for the last 5 years, and I guess we'll find out if it works.
So we're going to talk about any connections that the city may have to the Oscars this year, kind of generally. I want to know about your snubs. And we're also going to talk about ways to experience the films and celebrate film in Pittsburgh. So let's start with connections. What can we claim at this year's Oscar ceremony?
Yeah, it was funny because I think this is a relatively light year for Pittsburgh Oscar connections. But when I sent you my list, you were like, oh, this seems robust. So
I don't think I know what a slim pickings really is based on your criteria.
My criteria is this is not a year with an August Wilson adaptation getting Oscar love, for example.
Fair enough. A famous playwright born in the Hill District did the century cycle, 10 plays, now many of them movies as well. Yes, that would be a major connection.
Yes, exactly. So in my mind, these are relatively minor connections, but there are some very cool ones that I bet a lot of people don't know about.
So tell me through, what are your biggies? What are the ones that you're most excited about?
Okay, the biggie for me is Joe Lettieri, who's a name people might not know, but he's from Aliquippa. He is a senior visual effects artist at Weta FX, and he's been with Weta for, 25, 30 years now. He's a 5-time Oscar winner.
Whoa.
He won for 2 Lord of the Rings movies, The Two Towers and Return of the King, 2 Avatar movies, Avatar and Way of Water. He won for King Kong. And I believe this year is his 12th nomination in the Best Visual Effects category for Avatar, Fire and Ash, which is, I believe, anytime an Avatar movie is nominated, it's the presumptive frontrunner. So my guy is probably about to, you know what? He's about to Sixburg. He might be about to get his 6th Oscar.
Yeah, it's not rings, it's statues at that point. Actually, we're going to add that. So as you're talking through these, I want to know whether you think they're going to win or not.
I'd love to. Yeah, no, I would. Not that I'm a betting man, but I'd put money on Joe Lettieri and Avatar, Fire and Ash and Best Visual Effects.
Cool. What's next?
So we're already getting to more tangential connections, frankly.
Number 1 was real. Here we go.
Jesse Andrews, a Point Breeze native. So people around here probably know him as the author of the novel Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Yeah.
Who also wrote the screenplay for that movie's pretty good cinematic adaptation that was filmed around here. Young Olivia Cook for the House of the Dragon heads out there. And he also wrote the Pixar movie Luca, which I think is one of the best Pixar movies of the last 5 years. And according to my research, he has an additional screenplay contribution credit on Elio, which is up for Best Animated Feature. And so, yeah, he's part of the Pixar machine, which I think is super cool. I do not think Elio is going to win that category. K-pop Demon Hunters is a behemoth.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a tough category this year.
Good luck to everyone that's not K-pop Demon Hunters. So, okay, these next 2, I did a little bit of journalism, actually, and I confirmed that these 2 were Carnegie Mellon University alumni who did not graduate.
I wondered when we were going to hit CMU, because that's usually like for the Tonys, the Oscars, for everything. Like CMU always comes hard.
Yeah, and just to get in front of this, CMU is a Pittsburgh connection. Like, I treat the CMU, Pitt, whatever graduates the same way that people treat, like, Pitt football graduates. Like, they are Pittsburgh connections.
Well, and I mean, odds are they experienced the city for some amount of time. Like, even if you didn't graduate, you were probably here or in the network for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever.
All the School of Drama kids live in Squirrel Hill and Shady Sides. Those are all their references.
If we have to experience you on the bus and out in the world, then you get to qualify as a Pittsburgher for something like this.
Exactly, which is why I get to say that Ethan Hawke, who I don't believe needs any introduction, who is up for Best Actor for his really, really good performance in Blue Moon. He attended CMU for 5 seconds, and I think he counts.
Okay.
Yes, my understanding is that, well, based on an interview with Print Magazine from 2021 I saw, he said, I wasn't in the mental headspace to learn. So, and then I also think he got Dead Poet Society like right after he started at CMU.
Man, as a former college student, I feel that sentence so deeply.
There you go. In my ideal world, Ethan Hawke or Michael B. Jordan would be my Best Actor winners. It's probably Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. So, hey, which is also a great performance. But so no, I do not think Ethan Hawke will win this, but in my heart, he's already won because I love Blue Moon and I loved him in it. Florentia Martin, who I'm unclear when and how long she attended CMU, but I know she was there. And she is nominated for Best Production Design for One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson's movie, which I think at this point is the presumptive Best Picture frontrunner. And this is not her first foray with the Oscars. She was nominated a few years ago for her production design work on Babylon. And it seems like she's in like the Paul Thomas Anderson world now because she was also the production designer for Licorice Pizza. And she's done multiple Haim music videos. And Haim is also big in the Paul Thomas Anderson world, 2 movies deep now. So I don't know. Frankly, Best Production Design is one of those awards. Last year it went to Wicked, which got totally snubbed this year, which we'll get to later. So I don't want to prognosticate that, but safe to assume if the person is attached to Sinners or One Battle After Another, they might be the favorite in their category.
Okay.
So moving on down the list, this one I think is pretty cool. And frankly, really shows how good my memory is, because so I interviewed my guy Brian Osmond, Regent Square native, for the Post-Gazette years ago now, I believe in 2021. He was the B camera operator on Marty Supreme. Now, the camera operators do not get nominated for Oscars, but here's the thing. In 2021, Mank, David Fincher's movie about the old-timey screenwriter, I believe Herman Mankiewicz was his name. That movie won Best Cinematography, and that movie cinematographer, Eric Messerschmidt, apologize if I butchered that, in his acceptance speech, he was shouting out the camera operators who make the cinematography happen, and Brian was one of them, and that was the first movie that he had been a part of, he told me at the time, that won Best Cinematography at the Oscars. And he's been working in Hollywood for a long, long time. Like he worked on Silence of the Lambs. He lives and works around here. Like he just most recently has been doing camera work on Mayor of Kingstown. So like he's not going to win an Oscar, but his work, if Marty Supreme wins that award, which I actually think Sinners is probably the favorite in that category, which fine by me, totally deserved. And yeah, justice for the camera operators, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think we stand an organization or a person that gives props to the village that probably brought them to that pinnacle moment. Shout out to producer Sophia Lowe here, making both of us sound good.
No, Sophia's a champ.
What's up? What's next?
Okay, now we're getting towards real tangential connections. There's a silly CMU one. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even remember this character in Zootopia 2. But apparently Carnegie Mellon, I believe graduate Josh Gad, voiced a character named Paul Molbrandt in Zootopia 2. There were moles in that movie. So, sure.
Okay.
Zootopia 2 will also lose to K-Pop Demon Hunters for Best Animated Feature.
Josh Gad is exclusively known as the snowman in my household, but,
Can't imagine why.
He can do no wrong.
He also just appeared in Wonder Man in one of the best roles of an actor playing themselves I've ever seen. So Josh Gad having a great start to 2026.
And I didn't realize was in the larger CMU network. So super cool.
I believe he and Leslie Odom Jr., they were around the same time together. It's like in that class.
Good class.
Great class. Okay. So then very quickly, the last two Pittsburgh connections I had was, so Train Dreams, Best Picture nominee, I believe up for a couple other awards. Stars William H. Macy, who honestly the best acting he's done in years. His daughter Sophia was a CMU student.
Okay.
Was here for at least a couple years. Not sure if she graduated.
Might have been here for moving day or something.
I know for a fact he's been in Pittsburgh once or twice over the last few years, and I'm not going to reveal my sources there.
Okay. I feel like this is right up there with like claiming a Tom Cruise movie because Suri went here. You know?
What I'm about to do next is way worse.
I know.
She's looking at the same thing I am, and you know what? I'm just going to say it. F1, nominated for a couple Oscars, including Best Picture. What's the star's name?
Brad Pitt. That doesn't count.
What's his last name? Sorry?
Pitt. It doesn't count. Today's show is sponsored by Family House. Since 1983, they've created space for families to stay affordably when they're here in the city to get life-saving medical treatment for their children. You can support their organization and their mission at the 44th Annual Gala downtown. It's going to be at the Duquesne Club Saturday, March 28th, and expect an elegant evening. Think cocktails, dinner, dancing, dessert, a silent auction, and more. Family House really is a full-service organization. They provide these physical spaces, but they also have a breakfast program, shuttle services to and from local hospitals, and they host events for families like yoga classes and chances for caregivers to connect with and support one another. The 2026 Family House Gala is proudly presented by UPMC and UPMC Health Plan. Visit familyhouse.org/gala to learn more. Family House, your home away from home. Okay, let's switch to snubs. Who among the larger Pittsburgh network did not get a nomination and you think they should?
I think that this whole project that we're doing together was made more difficult by the fact Wicked for Good was completely shut out of the Oscars.
You were so certain a few months ago that that was going to be like the big one, the big connection because of Jeff Goldblum playing the Wizard of Oz.
This is correct. I was. And I'm a little salty about it. A, because, again, it made this exercise more difficult. But also, I truly don't understand how, at least in the technical categories that it won last year, that Wicked wasn't nominated. Like, I don't even know what to say about Avatar: Fire and Ash taking its slot for best costume design. That's the most insane nomination in the entire field to me. And actually, yeah, last year that award went to Paul Tazewell, who is a former resident artist and associate professor of costume design at CMU. So you know what would have made my life a lot easier was if he was going to get nominated again in the category that he won last year for the exact same work.
I feel your pain in this moment. I really do.
I hope you hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
No, I will also say I ride for Wicked for Good. It is not as good as the first one. I had a wonderful time. It appears that a lot of people didn't. So I'm willing to be in the minority on that. I think it's wild that it got absolutely nothing.
Fair enough. I think I'm one of those people that maybe contributed to that because I definitely went to the first movie. I didn't go to the second one. I know what's going to happen and it's going to be so sad.
Yeah, but also Cynthia Erivo doing No Good Deed is one of the best things I saw on screen last year.
I will watch it. But I think that was part of it, that you knew part one was going to be like a big spectacle and happy and hopeful, and then part two is going to crush your dreams.
I'm going to fully agree with almost every criticism I heard of Wicked for Good and also say I don't care because I had an awesome time.
And I think that's what movies are for, personally.
Exactly.
Other snubs.
And by the way, the definition of snub is malleable. These are movies that were in the conversation, at least, that just did not appear like where I expected them to or where most people
this is all about
expected
you.
them to.
Tell me.
Yeah, I just wanted to say snubs are subjective. But Jay Kelly, a Netflix movie, Noah Baumbach's latest, starring George Clooney, Adam Sandler. Patrick Wilson played actor Ben Alcock, who was kind of a contemporary of George Clooney's Jay Kelly. CMU grad, Patrick Wilson, who is part of my favorite power couple that came out of CMU because he's married to Dagmara Dominchik, who is a character actress who people probably know from Succession, and she was in The Lost Daughter a few years ago. My favorite CMU couple, personally.
I did not know that he was connected to Pittsburgh. I had to Google his face. I won't even lie.
Oh, yeah, no, I interviewed Patrick Wilson a couple years ago, and basically, when it got on the conversation, he was like, well, you just interviewed my wife and my college roommate. I guess I was going to have to talk to you at some point.
That's amazing.
Next, A House of Dynamite, another Netflix movie, which was Catherine Bigelow's latest. It was a thriller about a rogue nuclear weapon and the forces trying to stop it, basically. Not my favorite movie, if I'm being honest. But Renee Elise Goldsberry, speaking of CMU, she played the unnamed first lady who was on a vacation in Africa, who was the wife of Idris Elba's president character.
Also famously of Hamilton fame.
Correct?
Yeah. Okay. I actually saw this movie. I had a lot of strong emotions about it, but I agree. I don't know if it was like the best film I've ever seen.
I've never seen a movie that I was more in on through the first 40 minutes and that totally squandered that goodwill basically for the rest of its runtime.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil too much about it. I just think that it was structurally unsound.
I think I'm less critical, but it did give me a lot to think about.
Yes. I guess I'm picking on Netflix here, and I didn't even mean to, but the next one I had was Wake Up Dead Man, which was the latest Knives Out movie. I thought it was pretty fun. I think it was definitely better than the second one. Great performances from Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor. And you know what? Again, this is another tangential Pittsburgh reference, but Jeremy Renner has now done 3 seasons of Mayor of Kingstown here. And you know what? That's as Pittsburgh as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, Mayor of Kingstown is one of the most recent series that finally broke our streak of like having so many TV shows canceled after 2 seasons.
I was going to say, and I believe it's correct me if I'm wrong, I believe its 5th season was announced to be its last, which I also saw, I believe is already casting for local extras. So
awesome.
We got one more round of Jeremy in Pittsburgh.
And Jeremy also shot one of my favorite commercials that's ever happened here in Pittsburgh for Brooks Running. So after his accident, he's like wearing Brooks running gear and running around the city on our hills. Particularly, I think it's the West End overlook. It's so pretty. It just like looks so nice.
I actually haven't seen this one.
Okay.
Good for Jeremy.
Good. Homework for you.
Yeah.
So if folks listening have not seen some of these movies, I know I definitely haven't, where would you suggest people go to see some of these films or to just like plug in more generally with the Pittsburgh film community?
Well, I obviously have to start with the Lindsay Theater and Cultural Center.
Of course, where we're sitting now. Yeah.
I know. You're having so much fun here, as will everyone else. We've been playing Oscar nominees for the last month or so. We've We have 4 right now and 4 Best Picture nominees, and we're about to play 4 more. Then we have to get into the Wuthering Heights world in a week or two. But we'll also have the Oscar shorts. We'll be playing all 15 of them. So if you're interested in those slightly harder to see movies and you want to see them in a theater, great place to be. And you know what? I'm going to be magnanimous and we can talk a little bit about our competition because Pittsburgh has a really, really robust indie movie theater scene. Indie film scene as well. But some of my favorites, I grew up in Squirrel Hill, love the Manor. It is convenient and
you can have snacks in there.
They have a bar.
Yeah.
The Lindsay's BYOB, by the way. But
I didn't know that.
You see, you're learning things too.
I know. I love that.
But yeah, no, I love the Manor. It's a really cozy neighborhood movie theater. There's the Parkway Theater, I believe in McKees Rocks, which I believe is a brewery and a movie theater.
They describe themselves as a film lounge, which I like. It kind of sets a vibe.
Yeah, I agree. And that's 1,000% their vibe. No, they're a really cool organization. And it's great that a place like McKees Rocks has that. There's the Oaks in Oakmont, which I feel like they do a little more eventized programming. So I'm not sure if the Oscar movies will be playing there, but I'd still always recommend checking them out. And I did not save them for last, but everyone knows Row House. Row House Lawrenceville, Row House Hollywood, Row House Lawrenceville, one screen, mostly a rep theater. But they will usually show movies after the fact, which I would not be shocked if they have a couple of the Oscar noms this year over the next month or two. And I know Row House Hollywood has been showing the Oscar movies. I believe they opened in the fall with Begonia. And I know I've seen Marty Supreme on their list. I really appreciate the Mendelssohns. They do a great job.
The owners of the Row House
yes.
family of brands.
Yes, no, they're a fantastic operation. And I'm really glad the Hollywood is in hands that capable.
I think they're playing some of the Best Picture losers, too, over the years.
That's a really fun gimmick.
Yeah. So if I'm reading this right, Dr. Strangelove, Citizen Kane, Goodfellas, Pulp Fiction. So that's also something if you want to kind of dig into the past.
You know when I said the Oscars are a snapshot of the year in movies? I didn't say they always got it right.
Right. The Harris Theater, I think, is worth shouting out, too, downtown.
Me. No. Sorry, Joe Morrison. Didn't forget you. No, the Harris is great. I love having like a real indie movie theater downtown. And
they have the best marquee. I love it.
They do. And as you pointed out to me, they do often get some of the more, I don't want to say obscure movies, but like harder to find movies.
Yeah, I'm looking at their calendar now. February 20th through 26th, they're doing the animated shorts, the live action shorts, and then I think part of that week too, they're doing documentary shorts. So looks like they're deep in Oscars territory as well.
Yeah, that's probably around the same time we'll be showing ours too. And I will fully say, if you're in the city and you don't want to come out to Sewickley, go to the Harris.
All amazing. Definitely show some love to our local theaters. I will say one person on our team who shall remain nameless did speak in defense of the major corporate theaters like Cinemark and AMC. What do you think? Pro or con?
I live 5 minutes from the North Hill Cinemark, and I am not above going to it. I think it's honestly, go see movies wherever you can find them. I will obviously advocate for supporting local theaters when possible, but also just go see movies. Like, I think we are in a mini little movie renaissance where it really seems like there are some buzzy titles that make their way to the center of pop culture the way they haven't in a long time. The aforementioned Wuthering Heights, I believe, is about to reach that status. So yes, I'm not going to judge anyone for where they want to see movies. Yeah. I say if you can, please support your local indie theaters. But I can't argue with a good AMC or Cinemark excursion. Sometimes it's most convenient. What am I supposed to do? Tell you not to do that?
If someone is listening to this and they know maybe they're not as committed, they're not going to go for a marathon or anything like that, they definitely probably won't see them all. If you had to pick, what are the top 3 things you would suggest people watch in their limited viewing time between now and March 15th?
Okay. No, that's actually pretty easy. We'll start with Sinners, which was first and foremost my favorite movie of 2025.
Good. We started with your worst and now we're at the best.
Yeah. It broke the record for Oscar nominations. Got 16 this year. So Sinners is obviously a major contender. It's going to win a bunch of awards. When you're nominated for that many, you can't go home empty-handed. One battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson's, like I said, presumptive Best Picture frontrunner. It's got big Oppenheimer and Anora energy in that it's just wrecking all of the precursor awards, which if you're a nerd like me, you pay attention to the precursor awards to get at least a couple bellwethers under your belt to see what the guilds and what the critics think are going to win things. It's also very, very good. And Paul Thomas, it's one of those like, everyone knows how good Paul Thomas Anderson is, but he hasn't had his real Oscar moment yet. So this is likely his year to do that. And then, man, if I had to pick a third, those are the two biggies.
It can be anything. It can be something that's just fun. All right, it's visually beautiful.
All right, I'm gonna cheat. I really enjoy Begonia. I feel like that's one of the more underseen ones. I'm a big Yorgos Lanthimos guy. I know he is divisive. I loved Poor Things. I love The Favorite. I love The Lobster. And I would argue Begonia is his most accessible movie yet. It's about very contemporary themes, stars Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. Emma Stone's a Best Actress nominee for a reason. She's always incredible. I would argue Jesse Plemons was my biggest Oscar snub. I don't understand what he's not doing in the Best Actor category. I don't even want to talk about what Begonia is about because it's just one of those things you have to see to believe. And it
looks weird. I'm just looking at the movie poster. It's as odd as Poor Things looked.
But I would argue more streamlined and more accessible, despite it's got a powerhouse ending that it made a claim that basically I couldn't argue with, is all I'll say.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to cheat and say I loved F1. It's the best. It's the best blockbuster of 2025. People are upset that it's there over like it was just an accident, which is a really good Iranian movie. I would argue F1 is better than a couple of the other Best Picture nominees. And you know what? If you just want to have fun at the movies or have fun at home on Apple, even, I'm not going to argue with you. I loved it.
Can I confess something?
Always.
F1 is the only one of these movies I've actually seen.
So basically, what she's saying is she endorses it too. And if you want to have the most fun of any of the Best Picture nominees, watch F1. Brad Pitt is really, really good. And I love watching movie stars do movie star things as cars go fast.
Josh Axelrod, thank you. Thank you to the Lindsay Theater and Cultural Center. I hope we're back. We'll see how correct you were about all of the things.
I'm going to be wrong about a lot of stuff, but you know what? I was right that you all should watch movies.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for having me.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Definitely check out our website if you want to see these ideas and more for how to have a great time at the movies in Pittsburgh. You can find it all at pittsburgh.citycast.fm. And if you want to hear more from Josh, the Lindsays hosted an Oscars talk on Sunday, February 15th. It's a free event and you'll be able to hear from a bunch of local critics and film experts. And I got to throw one up for their annual Oscar contest too. So you pick up a ballot at the Lindsay, make your guesses in all the awards categories, and you have to get Best Picture correct. But then if you get all the other categories correct, or the most you can, you could win free movies for the rest of the year. Check out their full events listing at thelindsaytheater.org. We'll be back tomorrow with more from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
Hold on already. It's 2020. We're 1 month into 2026. Are you talking about last year or are you talking about...
In the last calendar year.
Okay, there we go. That was a serious question.